What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It is that time of the week to take it deep. That's right. You are with the Godfrey, and Mike is on the other side, finishing up a World of Warcraft game.
Out here on the other side.
Whew. Are you a fan of karaoke night?
Oh man, I'm great at karaoke, bro. You
I
don't know
fucking
my
hate
skills.
karaoke.
You haven't seen when I get a microphone near my mouth, when I open up the lungs and the vocal cords to spit out some beautiful melodies.
Yeah, I think karaoke night is one of the most absurd, overrated activities known to humankind.
Well, we all go there and stupidly sing drunk, but then there's always either one or two people there that take it very seriously, and that is their time to shine. We've all been at the bar when that one person is there, and
that's okay.
That is their moment.
If you have the chops to do so, but if you suck and you don't have the chops, do you tell your friend, "Hey, man, listen,
No.
I know you're really enjoying yourself.
Karaoke,
but you suck ass,"
is meant for those who suck ass. Karaoke is done late night at a bar because the whole point is to allow those that are vocally challenged and inebriated to feel like a superstar for one night.
All right. I feel like when there's certain songs that someone go to, I want to be like Huey Lewis in the news in the beginning of Back to the Future. Be like, sorry, you're just too darn loud. You're just too darn loud. Like, there's a couple songs that I feel should be off limits. The number one is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh.
Most people on this earth cannot sing this song reasonably well because it is a song that requires high vocal skill. And most people that are even professional musicians have trouble with this song.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you should stick to singing Smash Mouth All-Star because anybody can sing that one. Or Coolio, Dangerous Minds or whatever.
Ice, something of that nature. The Humpty Dance.
Sir, what is your skill level on karaoke? Are you a tier A? Are you a top tier? Are you a celebrity? Are you a C? Are you a Kathy Griffin? Because if you are, I'm going to have to take you down to these. Let's look at the song catalog over here, sir. Let's be more realistic.
But wait a second. Are you saying that only those who can actually sing should be standing up to do karaoke?
I just think there should be some prerequisites and there should be questions asked. Like one should be, is your best singing performance in your shower by yourself? If the answer is yes, that means you have no self-awareness and you're most likely going to suck.
But is it the point is for everybody to suck at karaoke? They're not going.
More booing should happen at karaoke too, by the way. Like I think it should be an honest evaluation, you know. Get the fuck off the stage.
Karaoke isn't done in a restaurant at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with families. No, karaoke is done
what about after comedians get bombed. They get booed off the stage.
After the sun has gone down, in a bar, after people have been drinking. That's the whole point of it. You're missing the point.
So has anybody, and I might be giving someone $1 million idea here, and I'm trademarking this show, so if you try to fuck me, I'm coming at you in court.
Don't try to fuck me.
We got karaoke, but have we done America's Got Talent version of karaoke, where there's judges on stage, and you cut them off if they suck?
Oh.
Have we seen that?
You are liable to get a beer bottle thrown at your head.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to have to pre-interview my participants.
Okay.
So I'm just saying it would be a good idea.
All
if
right.
everyone could sing, there'd be no Nickelback. That's true. So, I met someone that's a Nickelback fan the other day. And
Did you?
Yeah.
How did that interaction go?
It was very short. I erased them from my memory.
They've been saying that Nickelback is doing a loop around. Is now the meme has become has kind of created this essence where it's cool to be a Nickelback fan now.
Have essence? Like
yeah.
have essence?
Yeah.
or Evanescence. Whatever.
That's what I've heard. Nickelback themselves have said this.
It's almost like they were in exile and they came out of hiding when no one knew who they were anymore.
Right.
I wonder if that's what it was like to like the Bee Gees in the 70s. Hey, I'm a Bee Gees fan. Okay, whatever. In the 70s, you what?
Staying alive, staying alive.
No.
Took you that long. Took you that long to hit the nose sound.
I was trying to give you some a fair evaluation, and it was just you got the gong.
But I'd hate to be at a karaoke night with you. You sound like a
I keep saying First off, I like to say when I go to karaoke night, I do not go knowing it's going to be happening so I can make people not enjoy it or tell them it sucks. When I go to karaoke, I'm tricked into it. And we go to a bar at a happy hour and they're like, oh, I'm like, oh, great. We had to pick the bar of fucking karaoke. We're in Philadelphia. We picked every bar and we landed on the one fucking bar with karaoke. Thank you. I love this. I love this. That's how I feel about that. And like, I don't seek it out to spoil people's time or say, hey, you shouldn't be doing it. If you want to do karaoke, be my guest. Not my cup of tea, but just know if you do see me in the crowd, I am judging you. I am judging you fully. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to boo. If I'm booing you, that must mean I am shit-faced because that's usually not my style. Or you're just so fucking bad I can't even keep it in. You know, but listen, if you're an honest self-evaluator, like I got to see comedians probably have this sixth sense when they tell a joke it's bad. They probably like are like Terminator 2000, like, oh, that one went over like a fart in church. Oh my God, that wasn't good. You know, when you're singing a song and you're like really letting it out, you're like, oh, let me do a Whitney Houston song, and you don't have that even a tenth of Whitney Houston's ability to hit that high note. You got to know, man. You got to have some awareness. Like, woo. All right, Maestro, switch it to Rapper's Delight or something. I don't know. I mean, something, but
I've never looked and said, like, when everybody's like, what bar should we go to? I've never said to myself, oh, that bar has karaoke. Like you, the only time I'm at a bar with karaoke is when I'm at a bar not knowing it's going to be karaoke, and then just some random guy with a laptop and microphones and a monitor comes waltzing in. And I'm like, oh, shit, there's karaoke tonight. And then he's got like a binder of fucking songs that's 5 inches deep.
That was someone dropping a mic.
That was weird.
Yep. No applause. I killed that song. Oh, crickets. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, me too. I mean, I have gone to some birthday events where they rented out karaoke. The Japanese love karaoke. I've seen some karaoke bars like that. They do have a little bit different of a setup where it's more of a private setting where you're like in a room with your 10 friends or whatever. And it's not just like one person, a DJ in a bar full of people. You're taking turns. A little bit more intimate setting, maybe. Maybe that's
speaking of intimate settings, what about karaoke at a strip club? Would that work?
Oh man. I mean, I can't wait till someone sings Juvenile, back that thing up. Like I could just see the parodies. Me so horny.
I'm wondering how well it would do and if anybody's ever done it.
Tag team back again. Let me clear my throat. Whoop, there it is. You know, I could just see so many songs that you know, how about 9 Inch Nails? You know, fuck you like an animal. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be an interesting concept. I mean, I don't know. Toxic Halloween karaoke. Whew.
It's a possibility.
We pretty much had that.
That's a possibility.
We were like 6 White Claws away from that last year.
6 White Claws.
But listen,
the White Claws and the seltzers do flow very heavily at a toxic event.
Yeah, there ain't no laws if there's White Claws. Speaking of no laws, I saw this article and I'm going to read this headline and tell me what you think, Mike, when I first read it. Philly is so desperate for lifeguards that it's recruiting people who can't swim.
That's interesting. I guess, I mean, I would hope that they're going to train them to swim, teach them to swim, or at the very least give them one of those buoy, inner tube type things to throw out there to somebody to pull them into the safe area.
Conversation with mom. Mom, the lifeguard was in my swimming class yesterday.
I mean, you know what? At least they're putting forth the effort.
So Union League drama. Reinhardt has a big announcement and has tipping. Oh, I'm sorry, this is something different. So they're so desperate. I don't even want to get into that. Desperate for lifeguards, Philly says it's okay if interested candidates can't swim. It may be in the middle of winter now, but before you know it, Memorial Day will be here. The kids will get out of school. They'll need something to do all day, then get on your nerves. That's where Philadelphia's dozens of public pools coming. You know what's funny? A lot of people don't know it. I grew up in Willingboro, New Jersey when I was a kid. So I was about 10, and we had public pools there. A lot of communities don't really have public pools anymore. It was kind of fun until you saw like the turd floating there in the morning and you walk there for your swim lesson.
That wasn't a thing.
That happened. I swear to God. I remember I was like 6 years old. I was walking there for a swimming lesson, and there was a floater in the pool. And the only reason I probably they closed the pool for the day.
Right.
And my swimming class was the first one in the day. And now a floater in my head, when you say a floater, what appears in my head, because I was a kid and I saw that, is a body of water with a turd in it that looks like a pool because of what happened.
Nobody poops in the pool. Everybody pees in the pool. Nobody should poop in the pool.
Wait, you don't think there's a degenerate that would climb the fence and be like, you know, it'd be funny if I shit in the pool?
There are degenerates, but that's what they are, degenerates. It's okay to pee in the pool. Don't poo in the pool. That's what I teach my kids.
You know what? It's probably good I don't have a kid because I would teach him how to play all kinds of pranks. Like, you know, it would be a fucked up prank if you went into the pool with like 5 fake pieces of poop in your pocket and just let them float to the top of the water.
Do you wait. Jackass. Do you pee in the pool?
No,
not
with other people in there.
So you'll pee in the pool.
So you're telling me when I was in your hot tub, you could have quite possibly pissed on me? Is that what you're telling me?
It's not peeing on you. First off. Second off,
are you going to tell me there's a complicated filtration system in there that protects me?
So what you're saying is you'll pee in the pool if you're by yourself, not with other people.
No, well, rare that I'm by myself. Maybe if I was by myself. Maybe,
okay, so by yourself, you're peeing in the pool.
As a kid, I probably would, but as an adult, I wouldn't.
As an adult, so you're getting out of the pool every time you got to pee.
Yeah, how often do you have to pee? What do you have, like a bottomless fucking?
If you're drinking and you're in the pool.
So you're telling me if I go to a resort, most likely I'm swimming in people's piss
every single time? Yes.
So you're telling me
without a doubt
that's not the sun hitting the water. That's a warm pocket of piss that I'm going into.
Without a friggin' doubt. Now,
because there's degenerates like you that piss in the pool when they get drunk.
I can see you. There's a few factors here. First off, you've got chemicals in the pool. I can see you
with a big fucking margarita at an all-inclusive resort going like, fuck it. When in Rome and just fucking piss right in the pool.
But first off, you're in a pool that has been treated with chemicals to make sure that it is clean and void of any kind of bad things in there. Not only that, but if you have been drinking, we all know that pee is the clearest pee.
Oh God! So let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If you pee, all right. So, aren't you worried that someone's going to be like, "Are you pissing in the pool, sir? Is that you that pissed in the pool? Are you worried about that?"
Nobody ever knows. Whoever knows.
Oh, so that awkward conversation's probably never happened. I guarantee it's happened sometimes.
Nobody ever knows if somebody's peeing in the pool. Nobody.
So let's say there's a hot woman next to you. Are you gonna pee?
Yes.
Bullshit.
Wait. So here's I'm gonna throw one back at you. Do you go to the beach and do you go in the ocean?
God, it's been so long since I've gone into the ocean. I don't even know if I've gone into the ocean in my adult life above my knees in the water.
Okay. But you have gone in the ocean.
That's a big body of water that doesn't really end and goes around the world.
Okay.
So there's a whole lot of other shit that could be in the ocean.
So
besides the pool.
Right, but that's the deal. You've got shit and piss from all types of animals. So there is a ratio of water to shit and piss that you're okay with.
That's a very generalized statement. I'm pretty sure if we had I'm not a marine biologist, so I can't really tell you that, well, this is what's good, but I do know that there's certain beaches when chemicals start to wash up on shore that you can't swim in because it's toxic to you. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
But I'm just saying, Godfrey is
I'm not.
is okay with a certain ratio of piss and shit to water, but is not okay in a chemically treated water pool with somebody peeing.
I never said I'm peeing in the ocean. If I had to pick one of the two, I would do the ocean, but the pool, I just would feel some kind of responsibility of not putting my urine on someone. It's just how I am.
You're not putting your urine on someone unless you're straddling them.
So let's say I'm next to you. Okay.
Okay.
And you feel warmth just suddenly appear, like Jaws.
Okay.
Like you're gonna be like, and it has like, I don't know. What if you were drinking Mountain Dew all day? And you have, and it has like and you have that dark fucking piss. I mean, the water doesn't disguise the color, does it? I don't think
Yes.
so.
It actually 100% gets diluted enough that it's not going to show any kind of color. 100%.
I don't know.
The amount of pool
That sounds like
ratio
a
to your little bit of pee, it is
sounds like a-
diluted.
That sounds like shower thoughts with Toxic
We
Mike.
will try this out at the next Toxic Radio pool party.
You've
And,
probably already pissed on me. I don't know about it. I'm not ever going in your hot tub again. The way you are, you filthy fucking animal. Like, now I'm thinking that you already pissed on me.
I think you're too.
I feel violated.
I think you're too hung up on the thought of somebody peeing in the pool rather than looking at face value as to what it actually means, the amount of dilution that happens in the pool, and the amount of not even a
The
particle.
only
is gonna
thing
hit
that's
you.
diluted here, sir, is your thoughts. That's the only thing. That's the only thing diluted here. Far be it from me. I guess I'm a savage because I'm like, I don't want to piss on this guy. You know what I mean?
See, the way
Now
you're saying it, you're talking about peeing on a guy or peeing on a girl. That's not the way it is when you pee in a pool.
Brad Huber says, so Mike's a no tipper pool pisser. Sounds correct. No tipper pool pisser. There's no
Yes.
peeing in the pool. You've been vetoed by Laura about the peeing, by the way.
She can say that all the time. She's been in the pool with me when we've been drinking, and neither one of us gets out to pee. I know what's happening.
Oh my God.
I know what's happening. Next time anybody checking out this podcast, video, audio, anybody listening, next time you're in a pool with a bunch of people drinking, pay close attention to those that really aren't getting out of the pool to go pee. Pay close attention to how long they last having a conversation. Pay attention.
So speaking of pee and
I'm
soda,
glad that was a good segue.
and piss. Have you ever heard of a place called Culver's before?
What?
Culver's.
I no.
Like a Midwest version of Wawa, I believe.
Okay.
And people are losing their minds over they're switching from Coke to Pepsi. Or let me see.
What?
Yeah, so Culver's, let's see. It's an American fast casual restaurant chain. What a description. So it's a Midwest thing. Culver's.
Spell it.
Culvers. Culver's.
Culver. Okay.
Yeah. So they're changing from Pepsi to Coca-Cola products.
Okay.
Now,
what's the big deal?
people are losing their mind. There's Reddit threads over this. This is off of Reddit. Big change at Culver soda fountain has Midwest internet torn. Like it's a I've been seeing it all over TikTok and everything. And I have to say this, and maybe I'm gonna sound judgmental.
Oh no, not you tonight.
Well, let's just put it on the table.
Ew.
How much of a fat ass do you have to be to get so upset that you got to rant and rave because it went from Coke to Pepsi. Now, I do understand there's a taste difference, but is your day that fucked up where you're like, you know what? I'm never eating. Like, let's just imagine Wawa is our Culver's, right? You've gone to Wawa. You go to Wawa, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, are you a Coke or Pepsi guy? I don't know if you really give a shit, but let's pretend like
I
you
don't
do.
give a flying fuck.
Would you not go there anymore if they didn't have your favorite soda?
No, I don't give a shit. When a waitress
You know what I would
or a
do?
waiter
If I
looks,
was a real fat ass, I would buy the food that I prefer and then go to another store to buy the soda I prefer.
what
They don't
piece of
carry it.
shit is at a restaurant or at an establishment,
You're very
orders
judgmental
food,
on your tone, sir.
they
You're very
say,
judgmental.
I would like a Diet Coke. They say, we have Pepsi. And you look at them in disgust and say, never mind, I will not be dining here. Like, what the hell? Come on. Damn.
All right, so I think that is a thing. You have been out and you have probably heard this phrase from your waiter or waitress. Hey, yeah, can I get a Diet Coke? We only have Diet Pepsi. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. Some people will go. My dad was like this. No, that's all right. I'll take water instead. I was
Gotta
like,
be kidding me.
I swear to God, some people are loyalists like that. And I just feel like if it's that serious, I'm going to guess. If they could get the data for this, that the people that take it that serious, how many of them are obese?
I do see that they have the Culver's root beer. I would like the root beer. I'm just gonna put that.
Apparently,
out
that's
there.
a thing there because on the Reddit, the guy says in the beginning, as long as they still have their root beer, then nothing else matters.
There you go.
So, but people have been losing their mind about it because there was a Twitter post from Culver's. Hi, our restaurants are transitioning to Coca-Cola products. Favorites including Culver's signature root beer, Dr. Pepper, and fresh brewed sweetened and unsweetened tea will still be available. Leave your feedback at this link. We will pass it along. You've made me happy. I'm a Coke fan. Coke is 100 times better. But what about Mountain Dew? I knew it. There's always a Mountain Dew jerk off. You know, what about Mountain Dew? First off,
Mountain Dew.
I used to like Mountain Dew when I was a kid, but I feel like it should. If you like Mountain Dew a lot, I feel like you like to eat lead paint chips, or you might be diabetic. I'm just saying.
Oh, what?
I don't. It's like, remember the rumor that used to go around Mountain Dew, like it used to reduce your sperm count. I'm not even gonna fact check it.
I do not remember that rumor. What?
You don't
kind
remember
of
that? That was the
statistics
internet.
sites were you going to?
No, this was like a pre-internet fact check rumor. Mountain Dew reduces sperm count rumor. You never heard about that?
No.
Look, I don't even have to finish typing it in Google. That's how you know. No scientific proof that no scientific proof exists that Mountain Dew or any other soda for that matter has any effect on sperm count. These rumors have been around for years. This is from HopkinsAllChildren.org. Many people have heard this urban legend. Mountain Dew cannot be used as some kind of male birth control. So wait a second.
People were drinking a shit ton of it, hoping it killed their sperm.
Hey, baby, you want to fuck tonight? Okay. Well, listen, I might be down, but I gotta know. Do I need to get a condom or do I need to do the do?
Do the do.
Does that work? Of course it works. Freddie told me from across the street. It's party time then. Get the do. No condom. Can you imagine being a doctor and hearing from a patient, Doc, I think there's something wrong. Well, you're pregnant. How's that possible? My husband drinks Mountain Dew every day. Where did you hear that from? John at Culver's. Like, what? I don't know, man. Like, people kill me, man. People get upset about the little things, but I guess, hey, man, if your day relies on that, there's some self-reflection in order. But I mean, it's just like here in Philly, right? Like, I used to be more of a soda drinker, and I'm not. And a lot of people hate the Philly soda tax, and I get it, but it is very damaging to your health. I don't know if I support the soda tax. I'm kind of in the middle on it. That's not the question I'm really asking here, but it just kind of makes me think like, okay, well, we have the soda tax, great, whatever. And some people got pissed about it. And you know what? People just go buy their soda like right outside of Philly if they're really that big
Yeah.
of a soda fan.
I
Go
want
to
to
Sam's Club, go to Costco, buy fucking 5 cases of it. I don't know.
I want to kind of rewind a little bit back to the Mountain Dew. There's a Mountain Dew that's actually at my work in the fridge right now that nobody's touching. Nobody's buying this Mountain Dew. Nobody
You've
wants
been thinking
anything
about
to
that
do
Mountain
with
Dew
it.
for a while.
Nobody's
What flavor is it?
What flavor is it? It is, and it was out for the holidays and still in the fridge at my work. Fruit cake, Mountain Dew.
Fruit Quake.
Fruit Quake. Mountain
You're
Dew
a fruit cake, but that's
Fruit Quake. It says on it, with a blast of artificial fruit cake flavor.
so. Here's the thing about that. We have tried Mountain Dew on the show before. We tried the Flaming Hot Mountain Dew, which tasted like,
Yeah.
and it tasted like it was awful, right? It was pretty awful. So, have you been thinking about this nightly? Like, I really wonder what that tastes like.
Every time I'm in there in my work's cafeteria and I see this Fruit Quake, and I see how many bottles are there, and I see nobody's purchasing this. I do.
So when
wonder,
you say in the fridge, you have to purchase it. Like it's in the fridge. It's not.
So they have one
not
of those,
a general fridge.
It's like a self-serve kind of convenient thing at work, like a wall of snacks and drinks and energy drinks and all.
You
got to
pay for it.
You got to pay for it. Yeah, nobody's paying for it.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what you should do?
Let's
see if you have the go up to him and offer him half the price. Hey, like, listen, man, I noticed there's a little bit of dust on the Fruit Quake out there. How about you give it to me for cost? How about half the price of what you bought it for? Come on.
Lovely toxic queen, my fiancée, Laura says that might actually be good. So I might be buying 2 bottles of this tomorrow at work to bring home.
Well, if you end up having another kid, we know that the Mountain Dew thing is an urban legend.
Is that what we're gonna blame it on? The kid's born. I just look at it in anger. This is because I didn't drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah, I mean, listen, yep, it's the Mountain Dew's fault. Mountain Dew has some weird flavors. There's a place that I'm gonna link up with. I met him in person. They're in Philly actually, and it's a store I found. It's an in-person store. All they deal in is exotic snacks,
Nice.
Different flavors from around the world. So I'm gonna link up with them soon and try to get them to maybe sponsor the show by sending us some snacks.
Yes.
And then we'll and see what they say. I went in there once and it totally smelled like a bong. So which I know they know what they're talking about. But that being said, my nose is itching me like crazy. I don't know what's going on. It only happens when my shit starts.
It's usually because of the cocaine he does. But usually I'm able to edit that out of the show. Folks, you're getting a behind the scenes look and hear.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Of what it's like to have cocaine in your nostrils during a podcast. So we're gonna go to intermission right now while Godfrey
never
deep,
for the
deep
record.
In there.
I've never done Colombian snow before. I've never done.
For the record, I've never done cocaine. I've only smelled it.
Yeah, right. I'm not Bill Clinton, dude. I've never done that. Yeah. So Culver's, man, people have lost their mind about it. So just interesting. I was just wondering, it's a big thing in the Midwest. So it was breaking news. People were breaking this on Twitter. I couldn't believe it was trending.
News. Trending.
Yeah.
Way above Biden having top secret files next to his car. Way above that.
By the way, does anybody care about that anymore? Like Trump had some, now Pence had some, Biden had some. Like it's like who gives a fuck anymore? Like,
everybody has some. They're handing it out to the kids for Halloween and instead of snacks.
Breaking news: Lee Godfrey has top secret files at his house.
My big thing for the first time, I was actually curious and want to know more about what was talked about within politics because that whole Ticketmaster fiasco came to light where they had to testify and all of the representatives, Republicans and Democrats, we're putting Ticketmaster and Ticketmaster Live Nation, their same brand.
I thought about that today, and I saw a
blast.
couple of clips of it. Yeah, I saw a couple of clips of it. One, Senator Kennedy, and not from the Kennedy family you're thinking of. Believe he's from the Midwest or the South. He said, "Why don't we make it so you can't transfer tickets?"
Yep, I seen that. I watched that.
Yeah, here's the problem with that, though. I don't like that. That fucks the consumer over, right? What if you have to sell a ticket because you can't make it? You know, like there has to be a way for them. And then what about big artists, right? That say, you know what? A Beyonce or Taylor Swift, I'm going to use this little known ticket processing company. But see, here's the problem where Live Nation has a little bit of a monopoly. They have the reign on the buildings, and they're associated with Ticketmaster, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Live Nation and Ticketmaster are the same company. And they also own 200 venues across the United States. But
that's a problem.
Can I put this out there? I've got the solution. I have the absolute solution to this problem.
We know it's not tipping.
It still allows people to sell their tickets. It eliminates completely bots across the board.
Bots are the problem, right?
Bots are the problem. Eliminates bots. Still keeps your ability to sell your ticket intact. We need to rewind. We need to go back in time. We need to go back to where when you wanted to go to a concert, you had to go to a store. Usually it was Hollywood Video or some store like that. You'd have to go behind. You'd have to go behind the store.
Fucking exist.
You had to go behind the store, stand in line, and purchase physical tickets. We need to go back to physical tickets being sold at one location, whether it is the venue itself, whether it is a store that we choose, whether it is a GameStop, whether it is a Walmart.
Listen,
we need to go back to physical tickets.
I think your idea is awful and should be burned and thrown over the bridge. That's what
look, I'm already getting.
What if there's people that
I'm already getting people on board with this idea? Physical
what if you have
tickets.
Kids?
Physical tickets. What do you mean? What do you mean? What if you have kids?
Okay.
What do you mean?
So you got to go. You got to. What if it's a really long line? It's like 2 hours long.
Okay, so then you've got to. How much do you like that band or that artist or that whatever it is? How much are you willing to sacrifice in terms of getting there early to get the best tickets? All right, because you know why? Because all these bots and all these people on the internet, they're going within minutes. We need to bring back physical tickets.
Mike, there's technology enough out there that Ticketmaster can use if they gave a fuck to limit how many tickets people buy. You have QR codes, you have all kinds of things that you can use where you have to have a unique identity to buy these tickets. So they just don't care about the fucking infrastructure or the customer experience because they're getting their money anyway. There's so much technology out there where you don't have to go back to archaic 1910 waiting line. I do remember the day of going to Boscov's or I think Macy's too, where you would buy tickets.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever bought them. I bought tickets there. You can have that option. People want to camp out. That's great. But I think this is 2023. The reason why it's such a problem is Ticketmaster gives zero fucks. And I'm going to give you a story of being in this situation where a ticket is not transferable. Sometimes they won't let you transfer a ticket depending on the venue. This was during a snowstorm. I went to see Queens of the Stone Age at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. I previously saw him in London about a month and a half before, and I had to go up there. I was going to not go, but I had to go all the way up there because my friend who lived in North Jersey, I bought the tickets because I was able to get them through a credit card I had and get special access to it. I had to go all the way up there to get him the fucking tickets, and I barely made it. I had to take a cellar train because I couldn't drive because of the snow, then take the subway. The goddamn subway was stuck. It was a miracle I made it in the New York subway too there, right? And I got there, and I just made it. My friend thought I was like, standing him up. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'll meet you in Brooklyn, and then never showed up. He's like, are you punking me? Like, that's literally what he said because I was running late because, dude, I went from Philly to New York and I was gonna drive. It was so bad, and I only had a Mustang at this point, and I was like, I'm gonna die if I do this. I'm gonna turn around and go to a train. So I started going, and you know, it was like, okay. See, I don't like long lines, man. I don't like this just show up the day of the show. Like, there should be multiple
I'm
avenues.
okay with that. You see bands at a bar, you show up day of the show. There are some other times where a band might
But
show
listen,
up at a venue.
the artist can take this power back too and say, well, we're going to
do what?
let me call a ambulance. We're going to say, hey, we don't want to do it through Ticketmaster, but here's the problem with that. Some bands have tried to do that and it's burned them. I remember Pearl Jam was trying to fight this fight years ago. The government needs to use antitrust laws. They should not have a monopoly. There should be other competing ticket agencies out there. When you heard about the fees that they were charging, even the artists themselves, let's not even talk about the tickets, like facility fees, and they're not even giving them details of what, the facility fee covers. They're covering all of their profit before the artist gets a piece of it. And then here's another kicker that I learned too by watching a couple of these clips. They get a 20% of their merchandise sales, but they don't get a piece of the concessions. Because I said to myself, well, they should get a piece because you wouldn't be able to sell it if you weren't at their venue, but then people wouldn't be buying your concessions if they weren't performing at your venue. So it's very one-sided. So to me, if I'm a bigger artists out there have to push their weight around and say, no, I'm not playing at your venue. I'll do it at another place and give the business that way. And that's the truth of the matter. The problem is it's where greed comes in, right? Like, should it be up to the artist? It should be up to Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster has always been, they should not be able to operate as like a monopoly and crush all these other ones. And the secondary market is what it is. And if you choose to go that route, that's fine. If people just limit how many tickets people could buy, and that's that. I mean, the point is that they don't care. Ticketmaster doesn't care because they're going to sell the tickets either way. They don't give a fuck about your experience. And that's called anti-capitalism because there's no competition. They don't have to innovate because look, Mike, we talked about technology is out there. We have walking robot dogs, but we can't figure out how to fairly and evenly give people a chance to purchase these tickets. I've been there before back in the day trying to purchase Monday Night Raw tickets when WWE was in the Attitude Area, and I got the purchase and I made it happen, but you had to be on the internet ready to go. Boom, boom, boom. Then bots started coming along, and it's not just tickets though. It's PlayStation 5s, Xboxes,
yeah,
things of that nature.
Anything
and you know what?
Anything that utilizes the internet. That's why I'm saying go to physical.
But listen, I say have physical, but this isn't 1990. Technology exists where you can have both and make it equitable. That's all people are looking for. You know what I mean? I just thought it was funny. I looked up what you were talking about, and here's a quote by they were quoting Taylor Swift songs during it. They say, "May I suggest respectfully, Ticketmaster ought to look into the mirror and say, I'm the problem. It's me," said one senator. Like, really? I mean, there's a lot that, listen, I like that they're going in on this type of stuff. And I suggest if you guys want to look into it, look into what the testimonies were about and what the artist did. It was very, very telling. Speaking of politics, have you been hearing about this guy, George Santos?
Who?
Name is George Santos. This guy, like, politicians lie. We all accept that. It kind of sucks, but it's a harsh reality. This guy is like the all-time greatest. So I don't really want to talk about what he does or he hasn't done or what party or not party, but it made me think of people's psychology. So he lied about where he went to high school and college. Would get you fired at your job, right, Mike?
Right.
Like, they make you verify that.
Not necessarily.
But if you lied about it on your application, they could fire you for it. It'd be grounds for firing if they chose to do.
But they could. But at the same token, people that lie about that stuff, if they're with the company for like 2 years, 3 years, they've proven themselves, and then it's not a big deal.
All right. Well, this guy is publicly he never worked on Wall Street. He said he worked on Wall Street. So, um, there's apparently he was wanted for check fraud in Brazil. He lied about funding an animal charity. He claimed he ran a foundation called Friends of Pets United,
Wow.
saving $2,500 dogs and cats in 2018 and 13. But there were no social media accounts for the organization, no IRS records, and no evidence of the charity being registered in New York or New Jersey. He allegedly swindled a disabled vet whose dog was dying. He
Wow.
was
Piece of shit.
So he says he's gay, but he got divorced right before the campaign. He says his mom's death was related to 9/11, but it's unclear. His grandmother, he said, was a Holocaust victim. She definitely wasn't. He did not have employees who died in a pole shooting. He said he did. He said he's Jewish, but not Jewish, so he lied about being Jewish.
I mean, who
There's
doesn't?
claims that he was. There was
Who
claims
doesn't?
and pictures that came out that he was a drag queen in Brazil, which I don't really care. But the reason why the reason why people are saying that is because this guy ran on a platform of morality because he was a Republican,
Of course he did.
and his campaign has reportedly caused a lot of trouble. They said so. There's so many things with wrong with this picture. It's hilarious, and it's almost like the many faces of George Santos. And that's just the tip of the iceberg that I'm talking about here. The reason why I'm bringing them up is it kind of speaks to where we're at in our culture, right? This guy said things that liberals wanted to hear and that conservatives wanted to hear. So he got elected in New York, which it was a district as a congressman that has been liberal, went red in Long Island. Usually it's liberal. Biden won it by 8 points. This guy won, told a bunch of lies, right? Okay. Not unusual, but his lies were just so outlandish. The reason why it's interesting is we will push anything now. This is where a lot of people are at. Even if it cuts your nose off to spite your face, it hurts you. If the person is on your team, you'll back it up. You'll be like, "Oh, well, he's our guy. He's there." It's tribalism, right? It's crazy to me, like how far we're going with this. And this guy basically exploited that loophole that people are giving socially, and he's getting away with it because they don't want them to lose their position in Congress, the Republicans. He has refused to resign. I think he should, but um, they've actually given him positions of power in Congress because now the Republicans have the majority by 1 seat. And if that was a Democrat, he should resign too.
Yeah, you
But
gotta
this
put you gotta point
guy,
that out.
yeah, because people, will say, "I bet if you're a Democrat, you wouldn't say that." No, sit the fuck down. Yes, I would. Sit down. So the thing is he said he was a volleyball star, which is hilarious. One of his first lies, he was caught claiming that he graduated from Broch College with degrees in economics and finance in college. He did not even attend.
This is just
Objectively,
ridiculous.
even funnier, the fact that Santos reportedly told multiple people that he was a star of the Broch volleyball team, and led his team to a league championship. It's like that friend that tells wise tales, and you're like, okay, sure, dude, okay, and you just don't know to believe him because everything's so crazy.
Oh yeah, I've had
He
friends like
said
that
he's
where you're with other friends and they start telling a story and you were there and the story he's telling is bullshit. You just kind of keep your mouth shut and just look at him awkwardly. But yeah,
so in 2008, Santos was charged with fraud by Brazilian prosecutors for stealing the checkbooks of a man his mother was working for and then spending nearly 700 using a stolen checkbook and a fake name. He admitted to this in 2009 and then again in 2010. Then he moved to the United States and reportedly stopped responding to authorities who didn't know his whereabouts. In an interview after many of his lies came to light, Santos insisted, "I'm not a criminal here, not here or in Brazil or any jurisdiction in the world. Prosecutors in Brazil have said that they plan to recharge him with fraud."
toxic mom
um,
in here saying He said his mother died in 9/11. And she actually died of cancer.
Oh, I knew this. I knew this topic would trigger your mom. I knew she couldn't help herself.
Is that what you're here to do? Trigger toxic mom?
No, I just knew she'd be into that. But you know, and we have to ask ourselves, like, is this where we're at? Because listen, no one did any campaign research on this guy. No one even tried to do it. And he slips through the cracks, and now he's there. And now we're at the point where it doesn't matter. And I'm going to give you another example, right? Mike, would you be okay with 30% sales tax?
On what?
I mean, anything that gets sales tax,
No.
PlayStation,
Of course
video games.
not.
All right.
Of course not.
So it's a horrible plan when you look at it. It's a
Right.
sleight of hand trick. And now our politicians, whoever's in power, right now it's the Republicans, are all about creating narratives, right? So they want to say they tried to abolish IRS and get rid of the income tax. I would love for income tax to go away. That would be great. Here's the thing about that. There are things it goes to. So it's a sleight of hand trick because the sales tax isn't going to matter as much for someone that's very rich as opposed to a middle class family like yourself because you don't have millions. So that's really not going to make a dent in their armor. So it's really a sleight of hand trick to get rid of taxes for rich people and then put it on the backs of the middle class, which is a pretty shitty move. But I don't even really care about it. Will never. I think it's bullshit symbolism. The bill will never go through. But the reason why I'm talking about it is people who are on the right are bootlicking saying like, well, no, that makes a lot of sense. Cluck, cluck, cluck. It makes a lot of sense to have a 30% sales tax. Why wouldn't you want to abolish IRS? I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like people are so ingrained on tribalism and it's for their team. And this goes to both sides of the fence. But right now, this is the subject that they're going to defend a 30% sales tax. It's a consumption tax. Like, I just love how people have like logical arguments when it's something they care about, but they can't be logically honest when it's something that they want to push. Like, you know what would happen? Like, let's just extrapolate this. There's a 30% sales tax. There'd be a lot more theft. Trucks would go missing. People would be selling stuff on the black market like crazy. And I could give you an example of this. Canada has a higher sales tax than us, especially in certain parts of Canada. I believe it's as high as 12%. It might even be higher than that. So they'll go over to Buffalo, buy all their stuff, and you'll see in a mall in Buffalo a bunch of trash in the can because they're taking all the tags off and all the packaging for when they go back across the border, right? And just imagine if it was a 30% tax, you wouldn't think people are smuggling stuff in across the border. Wait until you see what would happen if you did that. But they don't care because it would put people out of business, out of jobs. They don't really give a shit because it's not for you. And some people are out here saying like, yeah, that's a great idea. Are you shitting me? Like, that's where we're at as a society is that we don't care about the nuts and bolts of something or why this equals this or the logical sense of it or real discussion. It's about carrying your team's water. And this Santos guy is a perfect example of it. You know, if that was a Democrat, they'd be losing their fucking mind over it. I mean, I could give you examples. Anthony Weiner was one. I mean, he was a total scumbag, and there's other guys. They would be losing their mind. They'd be having if that guy was a Democrat, the Republicans that are in power now will be going nuts over this and saying there needs to be an ethics committee. This is unethical, and it just goes to show you nobody has a line of ethics that survives tribalism, and they're just okay with it. I mean, this guy. I'm amazed by him. I've been watching this story for a while because you think it will go away, but every fucking week there's a new lie about this guy where he told a lie. And it's just like, it's so many to keep track of. I mean, he said he worked at Goldman Sachs. They said they have no record of it, right? Like literally he's saying that he worked and they're coming out saying, no, there's no record of it. They're apparently violating campaign finance laws. So, it's just like, okay. I mean, there's so much stuff.
It sounds like he lies so much he probably believes himself.
You know what? I do believe that to an extent. And that's what makes me worried is because people that are like that are mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
So where we're at this point is we're going to put mentally ill people in office. Now, someone's going to say on the radio, you got Joe Biden in there. Shut the fuck up. Sit down. If you think that's the same thing, you're not part of this conversation. Go
Trump was
play
in
in
there.
traffic. Yeah. Well, but he makes Trump look like child's play. I got to say, I mean, like, yeah, but I mean, this guy is worse. I mean, you know, he's not gonna stay a congressperson for long. That's what I think. He's gonna get charges around him. But it says some Republicans don't want him around. This week after he joined the House, Nassau County Republican leaders called on Santos to resign, which is out of New York. He has no place in the Nassau County Republican Committee, nor should he serve in public service or as an elected official. Kudos to them for saying what's right. County GOP Joe Cairo said in a press conference. In the House, New York Rep Anthony D'Esposito, Nick Lalotta, and Nick Langworthy and Brandon Williams have urged him on January 11th to step down. Santos has resisted these calls, and Kevin McCarthy, who clearly needs every GOP representative he can get, has not yet weighed in, aside from stating he will not be on any major committees. Look, the voters decided, McCarthy told reporters before deciding to give him committee assignments. So, just people aren't genuine anymore. They have a motive. I mean, the drag queen one to me was hilarious because it definitely looks like him in drag. And then he's like, listen, I was having fun and experimenting when I was a kid. And I'm like, okay.
Well, I did that.
But here's the thing about this. And the Democrats own some of this too, by the way. How come the Democratic Party and the campaign committee didn't do any intelligence on this guy? It's coming out like water, but you didn't do it before the campaign and he didn't win by that much. Shame on you guys too. Shame on you. Like what the fuck were they doing? It just blows my mind, man. It's an interesting story. It's almost like it reminds me of that movie with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yeah.
That and it's just like unbelievable. So I don't know, man. This kind of stuff, it's almost doesn't seem like it's real life.
None of this shit feels like it's real life.
It's true. So I was talking about that friend that tells these stories. Does anybody have that friend in their life that when they call, you look at the phone and you go, "Do I want to answer?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because you hate them, you don't care about them, but they're just gonna suck the life out of you with the conversation.
It's like I'm talking to the guy right now.
Oh,
No,
you know what? Fuck you.
Got him.
Shut up.
Yeah, no. But I'm talking about like they're just so full of drama. Everything is and you're just like, oh my God, man.
I think I've eliminated most of the people in my life that are like that. If I haven't eliminated them, I've not answered the phone enough that they know not to call me.
Well, yeah, you avoid the phone in general anyway. You have to like threaten physical violence for you to pick up. So
there's no reason to call in today's society. Text message. Allow the person to answer when they're ready.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is my my closing subject as we embark on ending the show. We've got to continue on our tradition of relationships 102.
Oh.
And text messaging. Is it good communications for relationships? How do you prefer to argue? Now, you say there's no reason to call, but would you rather argue with a significant other? This might be a tough question for you to answer, Mike, because of the present audience, but would you rather argue over text message or phone or in person? Rank them in order of 1 to 3.
I don't like arguing over text message because shit gets just it's
awful.
It misconstrued.
So it would be number 3.
That would be number 3. Over the phone or rather in person.
Yeah, so my ranking would be the same. I'd rather do it in person.
Uh-huh.
Second would be the phone, and third is text. and I would only do it in text now is if the English was the girl's second language and I had to use Google Translate, and I have been in that situation, and it's a fucking nightmare.
That's fun.
So, yeah, real fun. You wanna talk about and here's the problem why it's not good communication, and, a lot of people wanna do this because they wanna control the flow of the conversation or really don't wanna get into the depths of what the issue is. So, you can't hear how the person's saying it. You are gonna imagine in your head how you think they're receiving it, and it could be completely the opposite reaction, which is why phone is at least better because you can hear voice inflection. Or in person, you can hear the voice inflection and see the body language in front of you, which makes it a lot more easier to communicate. And people in relationships want to do this all the time. And like I've been suckered into it, but 9 times out of 10, it's a hard, fast rule for me. If I'm dating you or like even if we're a friend, it could be a dude, we're just friends. I don't want to argue over text. It's ridiculous. Like the only thing worse than arguing over text with someone that's a friend or a significant other is if there's a text argument that erupts in a group text message. Have you ever been caught in one of those?
Yes.
And it just keeps going off and you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, how do I mute this? How do I stab myself in the brain? So I don't,
Just leave the group chat.
not that easy sometimes. Not that easy sometimes. You got to mute it, or if it's like a messenger, you mute it. Like it's just going off. But it's not an effective way to really communicate, especially when it's someone that you're trying to date or a significant other. I just don't. I've met people that only want to communicate that way when you first get to know them, and it's kind of a turnoff for me because how do I know if I really like you or not? And if that's the only way you want to communicate, man, I don't think you're an effective communicator. I don't know. The only way you have a good relationship, I think, is you got to have a basis of trust, respect, and communication.
Right.
And if the communication part doesn't exist, I mean, you really have no shot. And I just find un it's untenable. It's not something that you could do and expect to be successful in a relationship or finding someone. I don't know. Um, if a girl argues with me, I dump her next. Okay, Brad. It's true.
Brad.
You go. You go. Yeah. And listen, text sometimes can be there's a time and a place for it. And it is to be used and I agree. And sometimes, a text is needed and a call isn't. But I don't like to leave things up to interpretation. And that's why text messaging in general, when it's something you feel is important, is not something that I think people should do. I mean, even Mike admits himself, and he probably rather not be on the phone. If it's important, texting is kind of impersonal. You know what text messaging was called when it first came out, right, Mike?
Well, it was called something else.
SMS.
Oh,
You know what SMS stands for?
Go ahead.
Short message service.
There you go.
Not 9 text messages and 8 paragraphs long service.
And it was free on nights and weekends.
It was free. Was it only free on nights and weekends?
Free on nights and weekends. It was
Or was
10
that
cents
minutes?
a text. It was 10 cents a text message. Was it minutes or was it, I forget. I thought it was text messages were free on nights and weekends.
No, it was minutes, but you did get charged for text at one point when, it was something where they didn't think people would do it because I worked in the cell phone industry during then.
Right.
And your kids will never know the torture you might have went through with your parents with, what did you ran the bill up to $200? You sent 200 texts? Who are you talking to? What's this short message service? What's a MMS? Who you sending pictures to? They never had to live through that, man. Now everything's unlimited, so you shouldn't have that problem. But man, I don't know. So that's all we got for you this week, folks. Thanks for taking it deep with us and spitting in Time's face for another hour. We always appreciate that. I hope you guys had some fun and maybe felt a little more enlightened after today's show. We got a lot more things coming, be able to dump a lot more time into the show as football season winds down. And we will, get some cool things going. Maybe I'll get like a backdrop behind me and you don't have to see like that, like blind behind me that looks like it's on crack right there. See that one? Yeah. So, all that good stuff. But, you can find the show on Amazon Music, long as Mike's doing his job. iTunes,
Wow.
Google Podcasts, etc. Google Taking a Deep. Ask Alexa if you can hear the latest episode of Taking a Deep. She'll play it for you. And that's it pretty much. So you know where to find it. And if you want to see the stream, what is it? Toxic youtube.com/play toxic.
There you go.
And Taking it Deep. You can search the Facebook page and we'll be there. But with that being said, this is the Godfrey Knights, and just fuck it. End the show. Just not saying goodbye. Just saying take it deep.